Welcome to Hustle and Pro, talking sports from youth to pro. We'll bring you compelling stories from athletes, coaches, professionals, and fans, all with the common thread of something we love to do, to watch, and talk about sports. We're here at Visual Learning Solutions Studios in Frisco, Texas, and I'm your host, Kelly Walker. After a quick word from our sponsor, we're going to be right back to meet our guest and get started with episode 130. This episode is sponsored by Visit Frisco. Be a good sport and enjoy all that Frisco, Texas has in store for you. Single players, spectators, and teams. No matter your travel style, the city that plays always has something fun on deck. Bring your friends, family, and fans to play along. Explore Frisco restaurants, shopping, and things to do at visitfrisco.com. That's visitfrisco.com. I've been anticipating meeting today's guest for a few years now, actually. Ever since the beginning of Hustle and Pro, I heard about this baseball nonprofit, Keeper of the Game. And today we get to talk to and meet the founder of Keeper of the Game, James Vilade. So welcome, James. Thanks for coming on with us.
Kelly, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to hear a couple things. I know you have a stacked baseball coaching resume. So you have ties with places like Baylor, UT Tyler, OSU, and the Texas Rangers and the Rough Riders, right? So can you just kind of, in your own words, give me an overview and tell me what your career in baseball has been?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to be a part of a lot of great places in the game of baseball. Started my coaching career right out of college at a Baylor University where I played baseball from 91 to 95. Was the head coach at the University of Dallas. Had also been the head coach at the University of Texas at Tyler. And at other colleges, I was at Oral Roberts University for 1 year, Oklahoma State for 4 years. Was fortunate to help them get back to the College World Series for the first time in 20 years. So that was a big mark for kind of carrying a huge dry spell for a program that was really, really good in the 80s and 90s. And then professionally, very fortunate to work with the Texas Rangers. Loved every minute with the Rangers. I was there during some really, really good times with player development, with success with the major league team. And, from there, it's been really an amazing run, still in the game and still around baseball. Very fortunate.
When you're coming into those programs, are you the kind of coach they're bringing in when a program needs to be turned around and that's your challenge? Or are you there already coaching a strong program? Or maybe it's different for everyone you came into?
I think it was a little bit different from each program. At the University of Dallas and UT Tyler, we started the program from zero. So it was kind of a welcome back for the University of Dallas after an 18-year absence of not having baseball on campus. And then at UT Tyler, it was the start of a sports program. So ironically, I got to start two college programs from zero, which is a unique, opportunity. Not many people would ever even think they'd have that opportunity, but to have it twice was amazing. So as far as, building, going into programs, building, getting it right, trying to really move it forward in every direction on and off the field. Then really I found myself in a similar situation with Oklahoma State, which was, basically, almost an irrelevant program for a long time. They just hadn't had success. They hadn't, been to the College World Series. They had never won the Big 12 tournament, and spent 4 years there really helping build and, really kind of mentor the head coach, Josh Holliday. He was a younger coach, and I had more experience leading teams than he did. So it was a unique relationship for us, and we helped them get back on the board. And, getting to the College World Series was amazing. Winning Big 12 championships was great. A lot of success over the 4-year run. And in, a turn of events in my career, I decided to take a local high school job, Prestonwood Christian Academy. So I'm leading that team now, and we're kind of in that rebuild phase of the program. So ironically enough, I find myself as maybe a little more of a builder than some of the other coaches. I don't think I've ever showed up into a turnkey job where everything was just handed over and it was perfect and just, keep the machine oiled. But that's the challenge that I love. And with the Texas Rangers, professional baseball is a little bit different. It's player development, and loved every minute.
We've seen lately some notable coaches that do kind of go back to a younger age range, like the high school level. And sometimes that's because of where they are in their life cycle, right? They either have kids coming up or just personally they want to go and work with a younger group. So that's kind of what we're seeing with you going back to a high school or going to a high school level. That's probably the youngest you have coached in a long time. Is that part of, is it more of like your personal part of where you are in life and your own family and personal life? You wanted to stay probably in a market for a while instead of traveling, being gone traveling so much?
Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. After 25 years in college and professional baseball, a lot of travel, a lot of time away from your family. There's also some special times in there. You get to do things with your families that are unique. But the opportunity to coach my youngest son in high school was a big part of it. And then my older son reached the major leagues this year in baseball for the Colorado Rockies. So the opportunity to be able to get away a little bit more over the summers and see him play and share his experience with him, that was a big part of it as well.
That's great. Okay, I want to read a quote about you. And I don't even know who put this quote out there, but I love it. And I just want to read it because I think it tells people a lot about your coaching style. So it says, he delivers the keys to success through motivation and inspiration. Vilade takes the audience on a journey that inspires the crowd to achieve more than they ever thought possible individually and as a team. That's pretty amazing. Do you even know who put that out there?
No, I don't know, but I know that it was probably associated with my coaching and some of the public speaking that I've been able to do.
Yes.
Very, very, very flattered that people think of me in that manner. But my job is to really coach somebody else's child. That was always my priority, is recognizing that when I'm on the field with a player that that's somebody else's kid, and always have respect for that. That was one of the things that when I got into coaching, my mother was really adamant about relaying to me, who, my mom was, a very successful teacher, and then she went on to get her law degree. So she really was, somebody that taught me how to care, taught me how to achieve. And, that was kind of how I built my foundation for my coaching philosophy. It's just respecting everybody around you and pouring into the kids as much as you can. So it's nice to hear.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And as a baseball parent myself, actually just last night coming off of a youth baseball game, and it really is important for those coaches to remember that there's somebody's kids out there and everything can, impact them, and every word you say to them and every way you talk to them, it matters. And, it comes home with them. So I love hearing that that's a focus. Okay, I want to shift to talking about keeper of the game, because I know this is a big deal to you. You mentioned your son, and I know that he's also involved in keeper. So can you tell us what keeper of the game is and why you started it?
Well, in 2007, I was coaching here in Frisco with the Frisco Rough Riders as part of the Texas Rangers organization. And it was always one of my dreams and passions to really put a bow on service to the special needs community. I'd been involved in special needs work, through college. When I graduated college, I had been involved with Special Olympics as a coach, as a unified player. I always tell people I'm a Special Olympics gold medalist in unified sports. So I had some really exciting times, some really good experience with Special Olympics, and have always been associated with them. But I decided to kind of branch out into our sport and really mainstream the special needs community into baseball, and really show people, what can happen when servant leadership meets the power of inclusion. So what we do, we serve kids with special needs and disabilities in and around the game of baseball, softball. We've branched out to other sports as well. We support existing programming. We support Miracle League, Angel League, Challenger League, Buddy Ball, Special Olympics, and then we create our own programming to make the special needs community a part of baseball on a personal level, whether it's taking kids to games or out to the ball game program or running a camp or a clinic. And we basically started our own special needs team and organization. So for every person out there in the special needs community, whether you're a parent or an athlete, we're proud to be your team.
I love that. I think it's smart that you didn't try to recreate what some of those really great programs already are doing, Miracle League, for example, and that you're kind of accompanying them, right? You're joining in what they've already started and have a really good foundation of, and you're just sort of helping and making it better. And I read that you do things like equipment drives, right? And you mentioned out to the ball game. So can you tell us about a couple of sort of the bigger programs that Keeper is working on?
Yeah, so we've got a really strong team around our foundation. I think the key to success for anything is to have the right people in place and have them in the correct lane. Brian Hochter is our executive director. He's been with us since day one. And through our vision and Brian's initiative, we've started a program called Out to the Ball Game, where we will take special needs classes, mostly at the high school level. We'll bring students out to baseball games, visit with them a little bit about a curriculum about where you're going and get familiar with the game of baseball. And then when we get to the ballpark, it's how to find your seat, how to ask for help, where the bathrooms are, where to buy concessions, where to throw things out, getting kids really comfortable, taking any part of that experience that might be intimidating or uncomfortable, making the kids really comfortable. And then the hope is that they have a great day at the ballpark, they have fun, they enjoy the game, the music, the atmosphere. But the real goal is that they would want to come back as a social event for themselves, their family, their caregiver, their group home, whatever the situation may be for the person involved. So we're trying to, get them out to the ball game, but the key is that they return at some point.
That is kind of the epitome of the name of the nonprofit, Keeper of the Game. You're sort of teaching them how to go experience it, and they can enjoy it, and then they can then carry it on to others. So I love that. That's perfect. Okay, James, we're going to take a quick break to hear from a sponsor, and we will come right back to hear more about Keeper of the Game. This episode is sponsored by Tumbleweed Textiles. Tumbleweed Textiles t-shirts, hats, tanks, sweatshirts, collared shirts, plus houseware items, and so much more are authentically Texan. Their unique designs are hand-drawn and inspired by Texas music, history, food, and fun. Find the latest from Tumbleweed Textiles online at shoptwt.com, or better yet, visit the Tumbleweed Textiles flagship store in the heart of the Rail District on Main Street in Frisco, Texas. And now, back to the show. Welcome back. Today we're talking to James Vilade, founder of Keeper of the Game and also baseball coach. So James, I'm curious, every time I look something up like on social media about Keeper of the Game, there's a common thread, a lot of things and awards, and I see Jose Trevino's name out there a lot. So, and the RP11 award. So for people who don't know your connections with some of these ball players and kind of legends in the game, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you mention Jose Trevino, that automatically brings a smile to my face. What a outstanding player, person, leader in the baseball community, servant leader. And it's really funny how things come full circle with Jose Trevino. When he won our award, as you researched and you saw, and my comment was, for future Roberto Clemente Award winner. And that was my comment 3 years ago. And he won the Roberto Clemente Award this year for the Texas Rangers. So we're really proud of our relationship with Jose. It was outstanding for him and his family and everybody that he serves. But, our relationship with the professional athletes is very, it's very pure. The guys that want to be involved are involved because they have a passion for the special needs community and serving the community. And guys like Jose really, really make it work. So thankful for him and his leadership and who he is as a person. And then, programs like RP11, one of the guys who really helped kick off Keeper of the Game and served in so many ways. His name is Ron Patterson, and Ron Patterson was one of my teammates at Baylor University. Great Christian man, outstanding leader, outstanding coach, great husband, great father. When he passed away, we really made a push to carry his legacy forward, to keep sharing, what his vision was for servant leadership and what his vision was for pouring into the community. So RP11 has really taken on a life of its own through some of the programs that we have, but that's our way of honoring Ron and continuing to teach people, what it looks like when it's right, what a community leader looks like, and what somebody who loves the special needs community looks like. And so those are a couple of examples of things that we're doing on a few different levels with the program to keep pushing it forward.
And then I noticed that there were a couple of Team of the Year awards. One of our Frisco ISD schools recently won. I actually think it was maybe this season, year, however that works when you give those out, Liberty High School. And Stephen F. Austin won. So I'm guessing these aren't just, good baseball teams on the field. What is it that you're doing, or what is it that these teams are doing to be winning Keeper of the Game team awards from you?
So, under the leadership of Coach McGar at Liberty, the Liberty baseball team has been just a huge part of our volunteer opportunities. And one area where they really stepped up is I think a lot of people don't realize we run the largest food drive in North Texas now. So our Strikeout Hunger food drive, which we started with Jason Jennings at Pastime Training Center, former Baylor player and big leaguer. Coach McGar has brought his team out year after year, giving at the food drive, serving at our special needs events. That team has really been front and center. So we wanted to honor their service to the community and recognize them collectively and thank them for the continued hard work. It wasn't one day, it wasn't one example. It's just so many examples, and we're pumped that it was a local team. And then moving on to Stephen F. Austin University. Johnny Cardenas had reached out to me. I'd played against Johnny in college. We've known each other a long time. He said, I want to be a part of what you're doing. So we always go through a little bit of a rundown on how you can impact your community. And in that area, there was nothing for the special needs community in the way of baseball or opportunities to get on the field. So SFA started their own league for special needs athletes in that area. And amazing, absolutely amazing. Wow. So yeah, our team of the year award is pretty cool. Yeah,
so that is above and beyond.
Both those programs have done great.
Yeah, and the other name I noticed was the Vyers Award. So I don't know if you know, but one of my most recent guests, I don't know, maybe a month ago, was Jordan Vyers. And so every time I tell somebody, or they tell me they heard that interview, they talk about his dad and his brother. I mean, it just depends on who you're talking to. So tell me about the namesake of that award.
Yeah, well, Billy Vyers has been outstanding for Keeper of the Game in many ways. He's won our award, and Billy does a lot of things that are front and center, where he's out there, physically volunteering, and but he also does a lot of things that are behind the scenes to help make Keeper of the Game work. So for him to get that award and for him to be honored in that way, Billy might be one of those guys that could probably get that award every year. But once they find out, that we have a deeper rooted relationship with our kids or friends, and Tracy had taught all three of my kids at Pioneer, so we know the family really well. We're super pumped for Jordan to be drafted. There's probably going to be another pretty good Vyers player right behind him. So it's a baseball home. Yeah. Yeah.
They're my high school. So I'm actually excited. Yeah. That's where my kids go to school. So we've been told, Jordan said, watch for my little brother. He's coming up and he's going to dominate. So I'm excited to watch that. I never knew all the connections you keep mentioning, like Baylor. You don't know this, but I'm from Waco. I did not go to Baylor, howeher. My dad did, but I did not go to Baylor. I was ready to get out of Waco because I'm from Waco, and I went to Texas Tech, another decent baseball school. But I love hearing all of your Baylor connections. And also, I just kind of want people to know our connection. So we know each other through a mutual friend. It's your lifelong friend, right? But it's my neighbor, and our youngest children went to preschool together, and they're now in double-digit kids. But ages. So yeah, I've known that family a long time. They're a great sports family. And I love that they immediately said, oh my gosh, you got to talk to James and learn more about Keeper of the Game. So I'm kind of sad that it took me 2.5 years into this podcast show to get you on here, but I'm glad that we got a chance to connect and let people know about Keeper. How can people find out more about Keeper of the Game or find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us at keeperofthegame.org. We are a 501c3. We're a nonprofit. We don't have any paid employees. We work off of volunteer power, servant leadership, great teams in the area, great individuals that really want to get involved. So keeperofthegame.org. You can get us on, Twitter and Instagram. Once you get to our website, we've got everything lined out. But on Twitter, it's at Baseball Keepers. And the one thing is this: is I would kind of make the call to anybody that this isn't just about keeper of the game. This is about identifying community need. This is about serving the special needs community. So whether you get involved with keeper of the game or not, it really isn't the big point. The big point is to serve those that need us most. And that's hopefully if we can just inspire somebody to move forward and do something special for somebody else, then we've done our job. And if you actually get a logo, as you can see, I've got a couple logos on today. If you can get our logo on you, we love you even more.
Well, yeah, you mentioned about strikeout hunger. I mean, there's things that go beyond a specific special needs player trying to learn a sport or attend a sport. There's so much more that goes into it. And I think you also do a really good job of bringing a younger generation of athletes, specifically baseball players, in to understand that need and be physically out there in the community. You see pictures of volunteers helping with Keeper and Miracle League, and they otherwise might not have really opened their eyes to all of these needs in the community. So thank you for doing that. And I'm sure now that you're coaching at the high school level, you're able to do that even more directly, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And really, in a nutshell, the name keeper of the game is taking care of more than just the game. Lifelong friend and great baseball man, Mike Basso, had instilled those words on me about being a keeper of the game, about, seeing the value in the big picture. And when we really sat down and talked about starting the foundation, it just resonated with me that, Mike Basso was right. I mean, this is about being a keeper of the game. This is about, moving people forward and passing the torch and caring about others and being great on the field, but being even better off the field. And, my philosophy of always paying attention to who you become along the way. When Mike and I had that early conversation, a long time ago about, what it meant to do your job on and off the field, guys like Mike Basso have inspired me. And, he's still a guy that inspires me. One of the best baseball guys that's ever put on a uniform. But like I said, it's come full circle. We're in a really good place with keeper of the game in the community. And we thank everybody, especially the Frisco community, for all the continued support. And, if you're ever having a down day, or if you ever need a little pick me up or some inspiration, just go to our Twitter account and scroll through the media and just watch some of the videos, and the day automatically gets better.
It's great. And you've inspired me. So I like to think of myself as in the general sense, keeper of the game, because I love baseball. I grew up playing softball. My dad coached me and my sister, and it was a huge part of our lives. Played through high school and for fun in college and, intramurals and things like that. Still play as an old lady. I just love softball, which translates to loving baseball. Grew up watching the Rangers on TV, only a few hours away, and going to Rangers games was a big deal in our family. And so we didn't get to go to many because we weren't here in the, exactly in Arlington, but it's a huge part of kind of my family traditions. And so we had both of our kids, we put them in Little League, and one of them's already retired, but the other one's still going strong. So I have personally passed down a lot of baseball love, my husband and I both, to our kids, but you've inspired me to take that farther. There's so much more that I could be doing with that, with our kiddos. So thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for your time today. I know you're busy with your day of coaching at school, so thank you for coming on with us.
No, I appreciate it. And Kelly, I'm really glad you brought up softball, because we have transitioned into softball. And last weekend, Chris Cox and Leanne Cox afforded our foundation a great opportunity through Texas Glory softball. And, we were able to participate in a tournament out there and bring some of the special needs athletes that we have through Keeper of the Game, throwing out some first pitches, having a good time at the ballpark. So I would probably say at some point you'll see a Keeper of the Game softball logo coming down the pipeline. So look out for that. And
would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Leanne is probably working on it as we speak. I love them. They are my neighbors. Yeah. They live Actually, they're smack dab in between where I live and where our mutual friend lives in my neighborhood, and so
Yeah.
I'm in front of their house all the time, and they're a great baseball and sports family, and man, talk about softball. Michaela is really fun to watch
Yeah.
pitch
Big
and
shout
play.
out to the Cox family. Thank you all so much.
Yes, for sure. All right.
You,
Well, James, so nice to meet you. So thanks for your time today. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Hustle and Pro. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts on your favorite platform. We're on YouTube now. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and you can find us at hustleandpro.com. However you do find us, please like, comment, review, and share. It's easy and it's free, and it actually means a whole lot to us. And be sure to subscribe so we can see you next time. Thank you.